The reasons for this is that the symptoms often exhibit themselves as behavioural rather than physical symptoms. If one of the symptoms of depression is coming out in a rash or developing a limp or needing a cast on a limb, then people might get more sympathy. But because the symptoms are behavioural, very often the response from management is emotional and behavioural as well. There is no obvious way to react. There is no obvious adjustment that can be made very often if people don't know how. So this often leads to frustration on the part of management. It can lead to buck passing, and very often, unfortunately all too often, it can lead to people either leaving, being put in a position where they feel they have to leave, or actually being dismissed. So whether it's someone with schizophrenia going through difficulties, whether it's someone with depression or anxiety who's having a bad patch and is struggling to meet their workloads, taking a lot of time off, the end result is often that the person, for one reason or another, leaves the job. And all too often, that's a bad result for the company as well as for the person. After all, they've lost an experienced, knowledgeable employee, and they now have the expense and the hassle of hiring and training somebody new, and somebody new is always an unknown quantity. If you can retain an employee with a mental illness, it's not only a cheaper and often more effective option in the end, it also means the employer keeps someone who feels that they're supported, someone who feels that they're understood, and they're going to be a more loyal employee. But how does this happen? Well, companies need help to understand and to be trained in supporting employees with mental health problems, just as they would with someone who had a complex physical health problem and needed support. Why should companies know how to deal with and understand and support someone with a mental health problem any more than families do when someone suddenly develops an illness for the first time? They need understanding and they need training. Disability employment services and organisations like ACE and Social Firms Australia play a crucial role here, of course. And SANE Australia is increasingly developing a growing range of resources in this area. Companies need to understand the reality of mental illness that their employee is experiencing, not stereotypes from the media. They need to understand the importance of flexibility around workplace and work practices. They need to understand the importance of planning ahead, of being ready for when the person becomes unwell in the future, and working with that person for what to do, which will be in the best interest of the company and of the person with the illness. And finally, and most importantly, they need co-workers to understand what the person is going through and how to work with them. And there's recent research which suggests that it's the attitudes of other employees that matters just as much as the attitudes of employers in whether someone with a mental illness can work successfully in the workplace. When this works well, and the benefits of the approach SANE is taking are working towards this, is that when it works well, when there is the understanding and the training in the workplace, it gives managers, gives human resources staff a structure for managing mental illness related issues. By giving people a structure, it reduces misplaced fear and misunderstanding. It promotes preventative help seeking and action taking. It promotes staff retention and loyalty. It can also integrate with wider wellness programs within the company, especially if it's a large corporation, and can contribute to a community social responsibility commitment. They're seen to do the right thing as well as doing the right thing by themselves and by the person with the illness. And finally, it contributes to a wider social acceptance and inclusion in society of people with a mental illness. So thank you for taking part in this first eVillage webcast. And if you'd like to know more about SANE's work in this area in particular, get in touch with us through our website at sane.org. Thank you.